Welcome to the Building Doors Podcast. I'm your host, Christy Harst. And today, our topic is about those scammers, because you know they're going to scam. You know it. And especially with the advent of AI, it's getting even easier for people to scam. And it's a hot topic in voiceover right now because all of us are getting emails and we get real excited because we think we're going to get booked for a job. And then it turns out it's a scammer. Now, we all know some of the typical red flags, but there are new ones coming up every single day, like rapid fire. And so that's why today's guest, OG door builder, Natasha Marchewka, is here because she recently made a post on several Facebook groups and threads, and you may have seen it, that she herself, an OG veteran, was caught up in a scam. And so this episode of the Building Doors Podcast is all about what's happening in the world of scamming in the voiceover industry and Natasha's tips on how we can try to add things into our workflow so we don't get caught up. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.
All the applause, all the applause.
Yay.
Wait a minute. I have a button that I occasionally use.
Oh, really?
Wait, hold on.
Hype button. It's pretty loud. Yes.
Ill-timed, but still effective.
Yes.
So I want you to start off by talking a little bit about what happened. Like, tell the story similar to how you wrote it in the post. And I may interrupt for details because I want to let you know that I called a friend of ours who hadn't seen it. And I was reading it very salaciously. And she was interjecting like, well, what about this? I'm like, I don't know. I will ask her when I talk to her. All right, so go.
Okay. So I received a direct message from my Voice 123 profile, we'll call it. So in Voice 123, if you're not a member, you get messages through there. So sometimes you get jobs by auditioning. Sometimes you get them from people just finding you jobs directly. And sometimes people will ask you to audition right through your messages, direct messages. So it feels a little bit unsuspecting. Not that there's no spam in there, but it's very, very, very rare. And as we all know, there's some obvious signs, which are misspelling, words that are misspelled, or they're not speaking in our language of voiceover, which is a production language, essentially, right? Well, this was very well written. There was no grammar mistakes, no spelling mistakes, and I had no reason to think otherwise. Now, someone mentioned when I blasted it to Facebook and anywhere else I could, they said, well, if you're really eager to get a job, you wouldn't look. And if you think you win a payday, you're like, yeah. For me, it was just business as usual because I receive a lot of messages through there. So it didn't have my radar on for it. So it said, okay, do an audition, all the language, ba-da-dee-ba. And so I did the audition and it said, send the audition to this email address. I'm like, okay, that happens all the time. At least once a week, someone's saying, okay, thank you so much. If you're interested, email your audition. So I did, I emailed it and I added it to the message thread. Now it was so-and-so at outlook.com. And I don't think anything of it because a lot of people still are using Gmail and Outlook that are hiring us. They are. It's a thing. And I have a great example because I received so much feedback from my post. So I got the job. Yay. And he said, okay, well, here's the contract. And he hadn't even said how much it was at the time because a lot of times I'm just waiting to see if I book the job and then we can talk money. So it said $800. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, typically it's just a bit vulnerable to say how much you're charging because we all charge something different. Typically for that kind of a video, I would have charged $450, but it's not unusual at all to find a rate that's just under $1,000, in some way, shape or form, because they're corporate clients and they actually offer their budget. So I skimmed over the contract, which, sometimes we do because we get a few of them, and and when I skimmed over it, the only thing I saw that would be a red flag would be, okay, so number one, we've got the Outlook address. Okay. The second thing was, in the contract, it says we do not pay anything ahead of time. No one ever says that in a contract. So it would be savvy of us to ask for a deposit from new clients.
Yes.
And it said, we don't do that. We don't give you money up front. I was like, okay, fine.
I will say not many people do, and not many voiceover actors ask for some percentage of a deposit. Some
I'm
do.
surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised they do.
Okay, sorry.
Because you're not saying an invoice, and then it's just not, it was more than one payment, and it's a bit complicated. But I've never seen in a contract, we don't pay anything up front. All right, whatever. Signed it and said, okay, here's my AI waiver. I'd like you to sign it back with my copy. Cool, no problem. Signs it. So I did the job. And it's like, oh, thank you so much for your professionalism. Clue number 3. A lot of scams I've been seeing in my email, whether in my spam or on, gets through my inbox, says, we really appreciated your professionalism. It's just a phrase that sometimes you're like, okay, a regular client generally doesn't say that, but okay, whatever, because all of the rest of the detailed information was in our language, our production language. And okay, whatever. So I've got the audition, booked it over the weekend. Monday, okay, can you record? Sure. I think I gave 2 takes, and oh, this is great. We love it so much. That's when I got the email, and that I knew right away when I skimmed through the email really quick, and it said, you get to keep your $850. However, the production company will get $1,500, plus we're giving you an extra $50 just in case some fees occurred. I'm like, I know what this is.
Can you pause for a second? Because for those that don't know, you did the job. You received an email that says, here's how your payment's going to work.
Yes.
Can you explain in detail why that is a red flag, where it says you get $850, our production company gets $1,500, and $50 for processing and fees? So does that mean, just for the person who doesn't know, does that mean that they give you all that money and then it's your job to pay those people? Like, explain in detail what that means for someone who doesn't know.
I'm going to explain it in simplest terms, because 20 years ago when I started, even 21 years ago or so, when I started my business, I spoke to someone on radio and they got caught by thousands of dollars. This is a voice talent. Before we had, 20 years ago, we still had the internet and everything, but it was it was run a bit differently. And he believed them. And they said, okay, we're going to send you a check for $5,000. You're going to send this amount of money to the production company. And they said this ahead of time. He's like, okay. He gets a check for the full amount, puts it through, and then writes out a check for $4,000 to the production company, which is not a real production company. It's people in this case, it was people in Africa, or out of the country. Who knows really where they are? And that check bounces. So the $5,000 check bounces. You've put it in your bank account, but it takes a couple of days. You've already written the check and sent it off to the next place. So he lost thousands of dollars. And we've all had our eyes open for that scam, I think, in some way, shape, or form, because it's been around for a long time. There is no way in heck we would see that contract and it said, from the issues, it said, let's see, I have the letter that he said right away. Due to administrative processing procedures, our payroll department consolidated several project-related payments. They hadn't told me anything ahead of time who the video production team was. So as soon as I saw this email, I was like, great, here we go. So, however, your compensation remains $850 as outlined in your voiceover services agreement. Attached is a PDF containing the protected check file. The password to access the document is lighting. Now there's another red flag. That's red flag number 4. No one ever has a protected check file with a password. It's just not something we've ever had to do. It's not a thing. And someone alerted me, reminded me, never click on a link that you think is bogus. But again, I'm deep into this already. And okay, I'm like, okay, number 4. Once the payment has been received and successfully deposited, please confirm receipt on your end. From the
This is
issued
very
funds,
confusing to me. It's very confusing. So they
and
want
to a lot
you
of
to
people,
pay. They want you to pay.
no, they're going to, from the issued funds, they're giving me a check. I just have to access it with a password. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but all of our jobs are different. All of our jobs come in different ways. We get paid different ways, and they're either big corporations or it's all different. Once the payment has been received and successfully deposited, please confirm receipt on your end. Okay, so that from the issued funds, please distribute payment as follows. Hugest red flag ever. So $850 as your agreed fee for voiceover services, $1,500 to the video production team. And I'm like, well, no, but who even is that? So you're totally caught right there because you didn't even tell me who the production team is. And also keep $50 for the transfer fees that'll possibly be incurred. No client ever says, here's an extra $50 just in case there's something incurred. So they've only made a few mistakes. And this
Mm.
is after I've already recorded it and sent it off and been through all the things. So then it's signed, and I'm not even going to say his name because it's not the dude. So the guy I was interacting with, a mistake here, column 2, Natasha's mistake. I didn't look him up, and it didn't
Mm.
occur to me like an Outlook address. Okay, whatever. I have a friend whose house I'm staying at has an AOL address. I mean, she's not in business, but
Right.
people have random.
Sure.
So this fellow, when I got this, I said, "Give me your phone number. We need to discuss payment, please." Try to be polite. And then, of course, I didn't wait around. I just looked him up on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
There's the name of the person, and there's the same company. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was matching. So then I looked on his contact information. There was no telephone number. I'm like, okay, I'll just look up the business online. So I looked up the business. In this case, it's a lighting company, just random corporate company, lighting company. So I just called, and by sheer, power of the universe, I got through, meaning he picked up. So I went through. It's a real company, and that said, okay, here's the for marketing, press, whatever. It said type in the first few letters of his name. I typed it in, and he picked it up, which is, surprising in this day and age that people pick up on the phone. I said, and then all of a sudden I got nervous. Like, if he's not the real dude, what am I going to say? So I
Right.
just was really, really direct so that he knew it wasn't, hi, would you like to buy, I was just, so I said, hi, Gavin. Oh, sorry, I said his name.
Ah,
uh,
no.
it doesn't matter. I didn't give you his last name. Uh, Hi, Gavin. This is Natasha Marchewka. I'm a voice talent. I'm wondering, have I worked for you? Did I just work for you? I did a voiceover for someone called Gavin so and so, and there seems to be some confusion. He says, no, I'm not the guy.
Oh my
He
gosh,
said,
no way.
yeah, and he was really sweet. And he said, my phone has been blowing up. So I guess, scammers, while they use different names, this particular one was like, oh, this is working. I'm going to use this guy's name. And so the real Gavin that works at this place was like, would never hire voice talent, never has hired a voice talent, probably doesn't even know what voiceover is, as many people do. He's like, he was so apologetic. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry for you because you're getting bombarded by calls. So then I quickly, my first thought is, everyone stop everything. Okay, all that voice talent, you have to stop everything. We need to change how we're running our, like, I was just like, for me, there are so many people that are vulnerable to scams, my mother being one of them. She's been scammed really badly in the past, I'm going to say 10 months regularly. And she's a senior. So she doesn't even connect, like, what even is a scam? Like, she's just not. So I'm very sensitive to that. And then the people that actually lose money. For me, I just lost time. And, but a
But can
couple
we talk
$1,000.
about, can you tell everyone why? Why do they do this? What was the
Because
end
it's their
goal by
job.
scamming you?
Oh, it's their job. So it's their job. So that, like, my mom has been through a romance scam. It's their job to sit there, and it's been on the news. I won't refer to countries and whatnot, but there's literally buildings in countries that they sit and they call and they build a relationship. The romance scams are, super painful. They scam tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars out of people, and I'm pretty sure. Because they're seniors, even though it's all over and done with, they're still like, well, this person, it's not even a person. It could be a bot. It could be, a woman, not a man. It could be anything. They're getting paid to do this. This is $1 billion business. It is
But
their
what are they getting
job.
out of you? Like, they get out of the relationship
Money.
money. But
Mhm.
what with, okay, here's a script, audition. Thank you for the audition. You got the job. Did they want you to click that link and then they could have access to your computer and get money from you?
Oh,
Like, what
no,
is
no,
the,
no, no. It's just straightforward. They've asked me to send $1,500 to the video production team. That's the money they would receive in US dollars, which is a lot of money in other countries. That's
and
it.
they thought you
They
were going
do
to send
all
your
the
$1,500?
so the check would have been 900 plus 1,500, which is what, $2,400. They would have given me a check for $2,400, and I would have written a check for $1,500 to the production company.
But that
That
check was going to
$1,500,
bounce, right?
no, the 2,400 would have bounced, but my check for $1,500 would have gone through to the production company of my own money. And that's what they're working so hard for, that $1,500. That's it. That is it.
Wow, they are
Now,
working hard.
they work really hard in the romance situation, just for everyone out there who has a grandmother, grandfather, whatever. And there's so many different things I've learned about, but my mother gave up where she was born, the exact date. She gave up her checking account, her credit cards. Thankfully, there was no money to take, but she gave everything, her email address, her phone number, her address, like everything. So now she's on the dark web and they keep emailing her and calling her and texting her and people saying they love her and she thinks they're real people. But it's their job. That's how they make money. It's like a career pretty much. So what do we now do now? And I don't know about this podcast, but we swear a lot on Speechless. Is that okay?
Go ahead. It's fine. Go ahead.
Because he wrote me back and said,
the real Gavin or the fake Gavin?
The fake one. The real one doesn't know my email address.
Okay.
Poor guy. The fake one emailed me back. He said, check your email. The payment link is there. And I wrote back, go fuck yourself.
Ah, yes!
Because I knew.
Yes.
Well, you can't, there's no sense in, like, some people, my mother, will write a whole long thing. Why? Right. I just wrote that. And of course, he didn't email me back, and that was it. And I contacted Voice 123, and I've got to say, a little disappointed, because their response, which was great and they were helpful, was, oh, yeah, a lot of other people have told us about this guy.
So are they going to prohibit this guy from posting jobs in the future?
They said, thank you so much for the information. Can you give me the URL of that client on the site? And I said, sure, here you go. I said, there's no investigation needed. I called the actual guy at the business. It's not the guy. Okay, we have blocked him from the site. But as I shared because I wanted to yell it on the top of the roof for all voice talent to hear, a lot of people said, this happened to me last year, or this happened to me last week. And so, first of all, we really, really, really need to share this. And there's one Facebook group called Voice Over Red Flags. So if you're not part of it, everybody, you absolutely have to go there. Not that we're all on Facebook, first of all the time. And some people aren't on Facebook at all, but I highly recommend. There's some groups we need. And Voice Over Red Flags, it's important. And I don't even check it that often, but I add to it. And so you can verify if that is a scam. If you have a question, go to Voice Over Red Flags, type in any particular name or whatever, or the situation, and people will answer right away and say, And they'll even tell you with their wisdom, because there are a lot of clues that I didn't even share. So one really great note from someone was that they only sign things that come through DocuSign or some sort of official contract signing software. Now, personally, I wouldn't necessarily debate a real client with, well, I can't sign it because it didn't come through DocuSign.
Mm.
Just know that that's another clue. Another talent said, I got an email from a client asking me for something. They had a Gmail address. And I asked them if they'll have a call or a Zoom, and they said they didn't have time. To
Mm.
me, that's my number one thing, is ask for a call or a Zoom. And so this person, who we all know and love, Patrick Kirchner, called his agent and said, is so-and-so a real client? They're like, oh yeah, that person is great. She's great, blah, blah, blah. Just happened to use a Gmail account and didn't have time for a call. So I think verify is really important. So what else did I want to, there's so many things, but voice over red flags. Then there's another great thing, and forgive me for not remembering your name. You're so lovely, and I forget. Let me look at it. So on ChatGPT, or he's created a software through ChatGPT, and it's called the VO Scam Scanner, and it's by Douglas Turkel. So
Oh,
Doug
Doug
Turkel,
Turkle.
Turkel, the
Yeah, say it
VO
again.
Scam Scanner.
Scanner. Okay.
Yeah. So if you look up Doug Turkel on Facebook or anywhere, just contact him if you can't find the link to the VO scammer. And what you do is paste the message in there, and it will give you the percentage of chance that it's a scam. So it's just a percent, what are the chances that this is a scam? And then it also, looks through, it says smart scam scanner built just for voice talent, detect scams, learn red flags, and share alerts with the VO community.
So when was this? This is the first I've heard of that. When was this launched?
I'm going to say I just learned about it a few months ago. And to be honest, I forget to do it because VO red flags has been around for years. And it's just one of the, there's so many different things we can use and look at, and I forget. But there are red flags. And even though some legit clients get through the red flags because they haven't changed their email to something with their business address in it, which everyone, even if they have their business address in it, if they have one letter off, very, very common. My mom gets emails like these all the time. That's, from Amazon.cu or whatever. They just change it by one little thing, and you think it's legit. And it even looks legit. I look through my mom's email. Haven't in a while. I better look through it. So my number one thing is make a date. I have a Calendly link that rarely gets used for a 15-minute production call. I don't know why it doesn't get used, but now I'm going to insist upon it. And yesterday was the first day, or this week, that I insisted on a new client. Can you please, set up a 15-minute, and it could be 5 minutes, doesn't matter, face to face. She was a bit confused. So when we saw each other, she said, she's showing me the script and she wants to do a directed section. She goes, what did you want to talk about? And I said, well, first of all, I'd like to look at the script and see if there's any unusual words. I want to know if you have music, those questions you ask already, so that you're prepared for this session and can just quickly ask those questions. But then I told her, I said, actually, you're the first client I've insisted because even though your company's legit and whatnot, this is just from now on, this is what I'm doing. I need to speak to the client. Now, this is something that I know I haven't studied with Brad Hyland, but I know it's something that he says to all his students, and that is, have a Zoom with them, because then you're seeing the client face to face and you have that facial recognition of, I know that person. And there's a much better chance that I will be hired again by that client because we've made a connection visually. Even if you call on the phone, it's not as much of a connection as Zoom. So there's make an appointment with a Zoom, and it can be super quick. I have all these windows open because it's only 15 minutes and you can do it within hours. Also asking for a deposit. If they won't, if they won't do a call or a Zoom, just say, okay, cool, for new clients, I need a deposit. I think it would be super fair. Like if you've already seen them, their face, you don't necessarily have to ask for a deposit. That's my subjective opinion. But if they won't show their face, then you ask for a deposit. That person will fly away. They will, even if it's $20, they will just be like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to bother this person.
Mm-hmm.
I was infuriated because, number one, I don't like my time wasted. I didn't lose any money. I just, time. I got shit to do, man. I do not have time, not only for the, a pretty detailed audition. I'm not someone that does auditions like in 2 minutes. I take more time, and then, but for the vulnerable new people that just don't know what a new job looks like necessarily. What package does it come in? Because it comes in all different kinds of packages, all different kinds of, we'll give you the script, you'll get it, you'll have a session, you won't have a session. Like there's so many different things. And if they're coming through a legit site, which Voice123 is, and they were very apologetic, by the way, but the scammers keep changing their names. I have another thing to show you on Voice123. Okay, so you can go into any job and you can see the person behind the scenes. So in this particular one, it's a client number 396. You click on that in an audition, in a casting. You click on that, and you can see their stats.
And this is in Voice123 for those people who are not.
This is only for Voice123. Yep. Yes. Now it could be on other platforms as well. But I know other platforms, everyone does everything differently. This particular client has been a member since October 22nd, 2024. They've sent 4 messages, 5 castings. It's a little in depth. Like they've clearly posted a few jobs. I will show you what my client looked like when I looked at it, which I didn't do, unfortunately, until too late.
Look at that.
Right.
Wow.
So what we're seeing right now, for those of you that are not watching, this is a client that signed on July 9th, 2026. And this happened to me last Friday, which was the 8th. No, it would have been the 9th, the same day.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm not good at math. They just signed up for the platform. They sent 20 messages. So that means 20 of us got the same message. So, hopefully no one lost money.
Yeah.
Posted 1 casting, and then direct casting invites sent. Oh, maybe that was me. Okay. Well, anyway, you can see they haven't posted anything else. Mm-hmm. And that's a big red flag. Now, that said, have I worked for people who have only posted for the first time? Yes, I have. So you have to look at all the different things. This person's email address is here and it's Outlook. So how would I know? I don't know. You have to just take one step at a time, cross all those things off the list in terms of, is it a generic email address? Is it, what are they asking for? In his message, it didn't say so-and-so at outlook.com. As we would see it with an at symbol, it said so-and-so at, and you're used to seeing that sometimes on websites where they don't give you the full thing. And I just thought, okay, so it's embarrassing to me because I've seen so many scams and we've seen so many versions of it, but they were so good at using our language. And I was just like, oh, it's just another day. Okay. And it was a lighting company. It wasn't like they were pretending to be Disney or Netflix or something. It was just like, okay, a corporate company, whatever, blasé. Oh my goodness. I just don't want this. We have to level up our game in terms of how we operate.
Well, I would like to say you may feel a little embarrassed, but good on you for trying to be of service to the voiceover community and sharing your story, because honestly, Natasha, you are a veteran. You are very good at what you do. You have a successful business. And so if these kind of things can trip even you up, imagine the people that aren't as experienced and are maybe just getting into the voiceover game. So I think you're doing a wonderful service by spreading the word, coming on this podcast. And just to review for those people who maybe are new or even veterans. Let's review Natasha's new workflow. When she gets a new client, not a repeat, a new
That's right.
client, she is going to research them. Obviously, she's going to look them
Right.
up on LinkedIn. She will look up for the company on Google, and then she will ask for a phone call or face-to-face. If she does not get said phone call or face-to-face, she's going to ask for a deposit for the job. Maybe it's 10%, 20%, whatever it is. Typically, that will be the wall. If they really are legit and they want you, they should have no problem paying $20, whatever the amount may be, because they want you.
Yeah.
But if they stop right then and there, they weren't meant for you anyways, because it was likely a scam. Right? Am I good so far?
You are, but I do want to add that if I would have verified him, he has his photo on LinkedIn. When someone doesn't have a photo on LinkedIn, I'm like, you're suspect. His photo was there, the company was there, and I went to his company page and he was there. So that, okay, might have, but don't stop there. Like you said, okay, I see them with my own eyes. They don't have a pretend head on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's an actual company. So you have to take the next step, and that's ask for a phone call or a Zoom.
And Gavin is real. He is a real person. Someone was impersonating or using his information, which then leads to the use of tools that we have access to, which is voice over red flags and the scanner site. Could you say that again?
The VO Scam Scanner by Douglas Turkle.
Okay, so those are two more tools, the red flags and the VO Scam Scanner. So that's two more tools that you have that you can access to kind of go through and put into your workflow. Now, also, never click on links. never click on payment links. That's an automatic red flag. And what I find shameful about all of this, Natasha, is that voiceover actors today need to educate our clients about so many things. We need to educate them about AI. We need to educate them about revisions and what a revision is and why it costs money. We need to educate them on timelines and how long something takes versus something else. We always have to educate. And so now this is yet another layer, another piece of a puzzle of our business that we have to add. We have to start putting these together. And so what's unfortunate is that it's a lot of work for us, right? And it's a lot of work, but I would like to think it's more about protecting you, your business, and your money. And so if those steps, it's more stuff that we got to do. But if you think about it, and what you said earlier about having the phone call, when you had that phone call with that woman and or the Zoom call and you got on.
Client.
Yes. What I see, the trends happening from where I sit, managing and running Building Doors, is that brands don't want to use AI. Brands have to defend their choices, and they have to say this was voiced by a real person. All the people in this commercial are real people. We didn't use any AI. The pendulum has swung so far one way. It's starting to come back to old school, like putting handwritten letters in the mail, calling people on the phone, having face-to-face conversations. There is a surge in people wanting to meet people face-to-face. So as voice actors, by including asking for a Zoom, asking for a phone call, what you're really doing is you're being on trend. And you're setting yourself apart and being different, because as the pendulum swings back, they're going to be people who, once it gets to the middle, they're going to be like, okay, now I got to go do this because you've already done it. You already have a relationship with 10, 20, 15, whatever clients that you took the time to do by protecting your business and yourself, and you'll be that much farther ahead.
I love that summary. It was really good. Yeah, I really love that.
Well, Natasha, if people want to reach out to you, share their story, or just listen to your wisdom, tell us how people can follow you and listen to you.
I have so many ways, so I hope you follow it. Although, my name is a bit complicated, but you can see it here on the podcast video, Natasha Marchewka. And I always say MARCH, like March, like the month of March, EWKA. So you can certainly go right to my website, which is natashamarchewka.com. My email is there. My telephone number is there. And I really haven't had, any more problems than anyone else with phone calls. But I also have a sign up for my VO Friends mid-monthly resource newsletter. So in the middle of the month, I've been sending for, I'm going to say 7 years now, a text-based resource newsletter. It's not exhaustive with every last thing to do, but it's things that I know are good. Now, do I make some mistakes sometimes? That's a whole other podcast. But I trust, a certain amount of people, and I will share the latest workshop that I think is really worthwhile. It could be free, it could be low price, or it might not be low price, but it's like super important that you learn from this person. But I also have a list of all the upcoming VO conferences and events that I keep up to date, and also add some information. So that's number one. I really recommend doing that. I have a nice big list that trusts me, and it's really awesome. And it'll help you with information, and I will respond to you if you reply to that. But further to that, there are other things, and I'm just trying to think if there's anything. I have a Speechless podcast. You can go to speechlessvo.com and check out all the past episodes. We've just finished, I think, 144, and we're taking a break, but 6 seasons. With lots of free information where you can learn about, first of all, coaches. Always get the vibe of coaches before you spend money with them. My podcast or someone else's. Check out these people, and you'll do a vibe check on will I jive with them in terms of learning. I think it's really important. So both on my website and the speechlessvo.com websites, I have extra resources as well. So just look at the resources pages and you'll find that. And I also do, I'm one of the V123 pros. So I have a website, v123pros.com. But what I will do that I find is really helpful for people and super inexpensive, which is, how I like to roll for talent. And that's profile audit. So if you want someone to look at your profile and your playlists and say, am I doing the right thing? It's $25. So just email me and I'll direct you, or you can go to v123pros.com profile-audit, because it's not published right now. Anyway, those are some really free or low price things to do to up your game.
Yes.
And I love supporting the community, and I think we all need to. And this kind of help is priceless, because if these people keep bugging us with different names, the names are changed, but their MO is similar in some ways, we really need to tell each other and support each other.
Thank you so much, Natasha, for coming on the Building Doors podcast. I think that this episode is going to help a lot of people and bring awareness, because not many people think it's going to happen to them. And guess what? It's probably going to happen to you.
Or someone in your family.
Yes. Or even beyond the voiceover industry. So thank you so much, Natasha. And thank you to you, the listener and the watcher, for tuning in to Building Doors podcast. Until next time, let's build some more doors. Bye.